Hey y'all, what's up? Okay, so your girl just became an affiliate for Kiara Lachey, teamlachey.com. Check down below in the description box where you can get waist trainers, booty bands, this cute little lavender yoga fit that I had got. Okay, it was real cute. I've been working out in it, y'all. I'm getting my life to Kiara Lachey, but I'm also getting my life to this ISO T. Y'all could play around if y'all want to, but it has definitely helped me see results in my workout. Definitely dropped some water weight. Definitely been cleaning out my colon and such. Okay, get your colon clean. All right, y'all. Links to everything down below. Team Lachey, TLCT. Get that ISO T in your life, okay? Oh, and also, don't forget about Omiage. Get you some. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondy Blue and I am back for another Greenleaf review, y'all. Greenleaf is good. I am actually kind of upset that this is the last season. Like, why? It's just getting good. It's just getting really good. Like, why? Never mind, okay? I don't want to argue about it, you know. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hold up, let me give me some of my drink. Hold up. I know it look like I'm shiny, but I had a facial today and I'm glowing, okay? So get into it. Okay, so Darius is going to Vegas to find out about Edinburgh lending, okay? He also lets Grace know because he pulled up to the house. You know, she's sitting out there, you know, in front of the lake, you know, all cozied up in a chair in deep thought. And I'm like, oh, rich people problems. Like, you know, when you have somewhere beautiful to go and like, you know, just collect your thoughts and get your emotions together by the lake on your, you know, family's huge gargantuan sized property with the trees in the distance and not a road for miles. I'm just saying, like it's nice. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, I know that must be nice. But like I said, Darius showed up. He's going to Vegas. He's also been fired from the paper that he was working for because he wanted to know why they were trying to get him off of the, you know, Bob Whitmore story. He wanted to do this story about Hope and Harmony. His editor was like, we want you to do this story instead. And he was like, but why? This person is running for Senate. Shouldn't we be digging into what he's doing? You know what I'm saying? And the dude was like, well, guess what? You're fired. So now Darius doesn't have a job. But it's 2020, okay? Or 2019, you know, whichever. Either way, nobody needs a large publication in order to put a scathing story out there and get a lot of publicity for it, especially if you already had a job somewhere and you put it out there. Hey, I got fired because I was trying to get down to the truth about Bob Whitmore. Here's everything I learned. Are you serious? You won't need a job, okay? They'll be asking you to write a book, all right? So I was just kind of like, that was pointless, like firing him. In all honesty, it would have behooved them to keep him on. That way they would know what he had, you know, but, you know, these people are stupid apparently. Let's move on. So it seems as if somebody was trying to erase the existence of Edinburgh lending, okay? Which means it probably was into some nefarious things, all right? Can't wait to find out what's going on there. Right before Darius leaves, he plants a big wet one on Grace's lips and she doesn't move. She doesn't nudge. She leans into it. And when he backs away, she's like, you know, like I can't smile because my son is in the hospital and he tried to kill himself, but like that was the vibe it was giving. Y'all, Carissa waking Jacob up early in the morning, all right? Just so much attitude and angst. Okay, stumping around on wood floors all hard and shit. And Jacob is like, bitch, I'm trying to sleep. Don't you know I was out all night trying to get to the bottom of all of this? I'm trying to get some sleep. And she's like, look, I know you ain't got no job. So while I'm going to my job, I'm going to need for you to pick up Jacob Jr. All right? Pick up Jacob Jr. And he was like, and she was like, see, that's why you don't need custody of our son because you don't even want to pick him up from daycare. Okay? And he was like, I never said I wouldn't do it. I'm going to pick the baby up. Get out of my face. Like, you know what? If you're going to be like this, you can move out. And she was like, you know, whenever I ensure the safety of me and my children, that's when I'll leave. I'm like, no, you can get the fuck out today and your son and daughter can remain on the property. But you can go. I really feel like you should do that. Clarissa, make it make sense, Carissa. Clarissa, whatever. Explain it all. Let us know. what have you been doing with your life? Because I feel like a woman seemingly of your mental, you know, capabilities should have been able to get money on her own instead of relying on Jacob this whole time, when that is obviously not who Jacob is. If Jacob wasn't in a rich family, he'd be poor, and he'd probably be okay with being poor. All right, he'd probably have him some, you know, beautiful big butt wife. Okay, he'd be working as a, you know, maybe have a small church if he'd even received the call and shit. He could have been a shade tree mechanic for all we know, had his parents not been Lady Mae and Bishop James. Okay, so I feel like she needs to figure her own shit out instead of trying to make him become a person that he has not been this entire time, all so that you can take half of whatever he can possibly make. He's not gonna make anything, bitch. Let it go. Like, she works on my nerves, y'all. Y'all, Lady Mae and James are downstairs in the kitchen trying to pick names for this new church, and they can't seem to find one. And James gives a suggestion for a church that's down the street, and she was like, you don't remember we took the kids down to that church? They had a pumpkin patch, you don't remember? And he had to think about it for a second. He was like, oh, we got laws. And she was like, no, you got laws. I got us out. Okay, like, of course, the story of y'all's life. Lady Mae coming to the rescue, saving the day after Bishop James and a big head son have done something stupid. She says, I want you to get a physical, James. I'm like, yeah, James, you need to get a physical. I'm as healthy as a horse. Yeah, horses die every day. Okay, get the physical, James. I'm not playing with you. Then Charity comes in, and James like, Charity, won't you come sit down for a second? Daddy, I really have to get to work. Charity, come sit your ass down. Your daddy has to speak to you, okay? Like that. Lady Mae is headed up to here, okay? So she's, what, Daddy? Okay, and he explains that they would like for her to be assistant pastor at their new church, and she doesn't want to do it. Okay, she doesn't want to do it because she's already assistant pastor at Hope and Harmony. Mae doesn't understand how Charity can't see that Phil and Judy will have her breastfeeding their cinnamon colored baby. And Charity's like, Mama, has it ever occurred to you that I may have a plan? No, Charity, it has never occurred to me that you might have a plan, because look at you. Look at you. Working at that church of emptiness. Okay, there ain't no damn church. It's a building. It's a building with fake ass white people pretending to believe in the Lord, and Phil and his slave-like mentality. Okay, like, it's definitely a slave mentality to feel that it is the right decision to give up so much of yourself to get absolutely nothing in return. Like, Phil doesn't even have the power to decide who's going to preach at church every Sunday. Okay, like, he had to give up the woman he supposedly loves. So you had to give up your family and your home life, as well as giving up your own words so that Bob can look as if he's deep enough to say any of this shit that you put in your... y'all, I cannot with Phil and Charity. I just cannot. So Jacob goes to pick up Skanks, okay, Tasha Skanks that is, so that they can go and talk to Basie's other sister, who we never met. And it's weird because she does give a Rochelle energy, doesn't she? She definitely gives a Rochelle energy. Does this mean that LaToya gonna come back? I feel like LaToya not gonna come back, because if she would have come back, it would have been mentioned on T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family Hustle. And it wasn't, and I'm just kind of, you know, sad about that. You know, we were looking forward to seeing LaToya Luckett on Greenleaf again. She plays such a nice villain, you know. You just love a good villain. When they get there, Basie's sister is all, you know, the Lord told me one day that you would be darkening on my doorstep, and I don't do the Lord's battles, okay? I don't fight the Lord's battles, all right? I just let him do his works, all right? You know, she's all saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost and running a mission. And, you know, this is something that Jacob can get into because he loves a good mission, all right? He wants to be down and dirty helping people. He didn't want to be in a mega church style, you know, situation as far as his calling is concerned. You know, he wanted to preach to the poor and the disenfranchised, not the rich and the aggravating. And that's, you know, really what he ended up doing. Jacob asked her if she thinks that James killed Daryl, her father. And she's like, well, yes, that's what they say. That's what they say. Now, there's no real evidence of this. The only thing that she says is Basie said your daddy called my daddy down to the church at the last minute. He ran down there and then ended up dying in the fire. okay? Like, now listen, I really don't think that it was James. I don't think James has it in him to do something like that to somebody. I think that's more Mac's flavor, and I don't understand why we don't just, you know, assign any illegal doings involved with the church to Mac. It's obvious, you know, like I don't understand, you know, why they can't believe that it was Mac. Now, when he asked her about Loretta Davis, which is the woman who had the property that the family lives on prior to them getting it, she's like, well, what is this all about? Okay, because obviously, you know, we know what this is about, but we won't see what you know before, you know, we divulge anything, especially because I think that sister is pretending. She pretending to be all holy and everything, but really, as soon as Jacob and Tasha Skanks walks out the door, she's on the phone with somebody. Guess who just paid me a visit? Call me back. I think she was talking to Rochelle, y'all. All right, now they say Basie dead, so I'm gonna go along with that story, but you know, you never know with the Skanks. You just never know. So Jacob drops Tasha Skanks off back to her house, and she asked him, Jacob, I know we had our thing, but did you ever really like me? And I'm like, oh Lord, y'all, here we go. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I would really like to see Jacob and Tasha Skanks together. Like, she has the perfect temperament. She sees him as a man, you know, instead of a little boy with, you know, no money like Carissa sees him. Like, I'm just saying, you know, like this woman, you are such a good man, Jacob Greenleaf. You know, it's just like, oh my God, Tasha Skanks would, like, you know what I'm saying, lick the dirty drawers off of Jacob Greenleaf, and it's very obvious. Like, I'm just saying, you can tell the way she looks at him, and it's just, oh, and you know, men love that. Especially when they got some strong woman somewhere telling them they ain't shit. There's a woman somewhere that's just about to fall to pieces over them. Oh my God, they just love it, okay? Now, she tries to move in to kiss him because he told her that, of course, he, you know, felt some type of way for her. Of course he did. And when she moved in to try to kiss him, he was like, wait a minute, you know, let's do it right, you know, because he was like, I'm about to get a divorce, so let's do this the right way. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's date. All right, I want to see it. I want to see it. I really do. When he gets home, he then picked up, you know, Jacob Jr. from daycare, and Carissa is on the phone with the lawyer, I'm guessing, telling her how Jacob still ain't found a job. It's like, Jacob does not need to find a job, okay? Jacob lives with his rich parents, and they provide everything for him. Jacob does not need to get a job. Like, look, it'd be one thing, you know what I'm saying, if his people didn't want him there. But the family loves having everybody all in one place, okay? And money doesn't seem to be a problem, even though they don't have a church anymore. So I'm just kind of like, child, I don't know what happened with the finances, but I'm not going to argue about it. Jacob comes in and tells Carissa that he's going to fight for partial custody of his son, okay? The deal is off. And she's like, well, what about your daddy? And he was like, well, if he deserves to be in jail, he deserves to be in jail. But I'm going to go and find out. So he goes and talks to Bishop, but we'll get to that later. So y'all, Zora and Sophia. Zora is helping Sophia get her nudes off the internet, all right? She sees this bag of clothes that has some of Nikki's clothes in it and some of Zora's clothes in it. And she takes it and just starts throwing it everywhere. I'm like, oh, that's doing something, huh? Throwing it in the trash like the trash can ain't empty. Trash can empty. Ain't got shit in it. Ain't really gonna get nothing on them clothes. Just pick them clothes right back up and put them in a dirty clothes basket. That's all you're gonna do. You ain't doing nothing. Okay, Sophia, calm down before you bust a blood vessel, okay? Because she was just, you know, she was so upset. Poor thing. I mean, she had every right to be upset, okay? Then here come Nikki walking in the door, you know, I guess she lived there, so it makes sense for the way she just burst into the room. Nikki and Sophia start fighting. Sophia can't fight, so, you know, of course, if it wasn't for Zora, Nikki would have probably beat Sophia's ass at this point. But, you know, I appreciate the gumption. You know, at the end of the day, there's always somebody that's going to be able to whip your ass. But what matters is that you wasn't no punk about it. Sophia tells Nikki that her breath smells bad, and then Nikki says, yeah, I put something in it that you will never get again. Talking about Dante. I'm like, well, that's classy, isn't it? Telling us that you just came from sucking his dick. Like, I hope you taking your shit back to his place. Okay? Like, I don't know whether Nikki was coming back, you know, to tell Zora that she was going to stay with Dante for good. I don't know. But I know sis needs to start saving Dante's checks before he kick her ass out again. Sophia tells Nikki that she's ugly on the inside, and the 10 pounds of makeup she puts on that dinner plate she calls a face. I was like, damn, that was kind of funny. You know, isn't going to hide that or conceal that. Nikki says, well, at least I can still have babies. I said, oh, bitch, no, you didn't. Okay? And Sophia goes after her, goes to grab her ponytail, and Nikki turns around and backhand. And Nikki turns around and backhand slaps the piss out of Sophia. I was like, damn it, Sophia, when you pull that ponytail, you supposed to be waiting for a hand. And you supposed to pull it with so much fever that she can't even do this. She too busy going this way to go that way. You got to pull harder next time, Sophia. Child, she needs to take some kickboxing classes or something. Zora breaks the fight up and tells Nikki she needs to get her shit and get out of her cabin and don't come back again. And I was like, good, I'm glad. Ain't nobody about to throw away their family members for your old poor hoe ass. You ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. As Zora is tending to Sophia's wounds, she tells her that she needs to get her life in order, okay? You need to get it together. I ain't got my life together after being in an abusive relationship. You need to get yours together after finding out you can't have no kids, all right? They got so many people that shouldn't be having children, but for some reason, God has given them the ability to continue to have them over and over again. There's a child out there somewhere that is going to need all the love and warmness that Sophia can give to them. That's why I feel like, you know, especially since, you know, she ain't got no drug habit, she ain't got no criminal history, like, calm down. Calm down and get your life and your career together, because eventually you might be able to adopt a baby. Like, why, you know, I don't understand why it always has to be, if it's not, you know, physically mine, then I don't want it. And it's like, I don't think that's how any of this works. So Sophia needs to get her life together. But I do agree, run a marathon, bitch. Learn how to make jambalaya. Do something, but figure it out. Get it together. Noah comes in to see Lady Mae and James, and Grace isn't happy about it, okay? Grace doesn't really want to be around Noah, and it doesn't make it any better that Lady Mae is always acting like he's the bee's knees. Oh, he's like a celebrity. I'm so happy to see you. Like, girl, if you don't stop, Noah tells them that he's going to be staying with his mom for a while until he can get his own place in town. And then Mae offers the cabin once Zora goes off to college. And Grace was like, wait a minute, mama, like, why are you offering him, you know, a place on this property? Like, calm down. Mae says, well, AJ is going to be here, and y'all need to take advantage of any opportunity for y'all to create some type of family for y'all and for that boy, okay? Grace doesn't like the fact that it seems as if Mae is trying to make it seem as if Noah would be of more value to AJ than Grace is. And Lady Mae is like, well, look, I'm not trying to hurt no feelings or nothing, but I'm sure the boy knows that you gave him up and that his daddy didn't even know about him. All right, so you may not like to hear that. That might hurt. But the truth of the matter is, he may be thinking about that when he's considering where he wants to stay. Grace is upset, so she walks away. You know, you're right, mama. And she walks away. And she's so upset, James follows behind her. He's like, wait a minute, Grace, wait a minute. And she just kind of stands there and, you know, she's like, look, daddy, I just need a minute, okay? And he's like, Grace, I'm talking to you. You don't turn your back on me when I'm talking to you, okay? You don't do that to your daddy, okay? So basically, he explains to her that even though your mama might be, you know, harsh in her wording, she's not wrong. Me and your mama were not on the same page when it came to faith, and we all suffered because of it. So whatever you got to do, get on the same page with Noah. Now, my whole thing is, like, how old is AJ again? Grown enough to not need all of this babying and shit. I mean, I don't know. I feel like nobody was there for him as a child, so he probably, you know, in some way needs to revisit this childhood thing in order to gain some semblance of self-respect and dignity for himself, because he doesn't seem to have any. So y'all, Charity's at work, and she's praying to the Lord to try to help her deal with her family, her mama specifically, and Phil and Judy here at Hope and Harmony, you know, relying on the Lord to get her through. And that's when Phil comes in. Somebody is intercepting your prayers, ain't they? Child. He and Judy want her to do the welcome for the first service, you know, back since everything is going down. She says, okay, I'll do it, but I want to preach on Sunday. And he's giving her the runaround, every reason for why he can't promise that to her, you know, in that moment. Oh, I have to run it by Bob and all of this type of stuff. She says, okay, fine. What else do you want? He says, well, Judy also needs help with the music. And she says, okay, I'll help, but only so that there are still people here when it's my turn to preach. I'm like, the fact that you feel like you need to wait for a chance to preach when your own family is offering you assistant pastor, where you always wanted to be with them. They're offering you, you know what I'm saying, this olive branch. Bitch, take it. Running behind this man that's running behind this wrinkled up, old shriveled up, skinny white bitch with big hair. Oh. Charity brings the music for the next 6 months, her suggestions, into Judy's office. Y'all know that's her old office that has been painted pink and Confederate monument gray. The racism is just thick in the air. Just as Charity is trying to leave, Judy wants her opinion on something. And Charity is like, well, I'm busy doing my job and yours, so can you make it quick? What is this about? Judy feels as if because Judy feels as if because they've given Charity the, you know, opening welcome, that should make her happy. And she's like, no, I'm not going to clap like a seal because you gave me the opening. Let's be clear, neither one of you want to do it because you don't know how you're going to be received. So y'all want to throw me out there in that hot water. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing me no damn favor by asking me to do one more thing that you should be doing. And let's just be clear, Judy, without Phil, Charity is not going to be agreeable. Okay, you're parading around her with the ring that he gave her on your hand, and then she puts it all in Charity's face. What do you think of this ring? Is it a bit stodgy? Maybe I just need to get it resized. I'm like, stodgy, huh? Okay, you anorexic, bulimic looking bitch. You know what I'm saying? Charity tells Judy that she knows what she's doing. She's trying to get her to quit. But she plans on teaching, preaching, and praying her way right past Judy and Phil. And I'm like, see, that's the thing. You know, a lot of black folks think that. But what I've learned about corporate America is sometimes it does not matter how good you are. If the boss's daughter is your boss, then the nepotism will always be at the forefront. Always. When Charity is going home to be with her son, finally, Phil tries to pull her to the side to talk to her. And she tells him that he is not allowed to touch her like that again. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. I just, you know, I was wondering if we could talk how we used to. And she was like, no, we can't talk how we used to. And God does make miracles happen. But no, honey, I don't see that ever happening again. And then she walks away. And I'm like, child, if he leave Judy and put that ring back on your finger without even hand sanitizing it, your ass will be jumping right back on Phil's Baltimore peen. I ain't got time for you, Charity. Okay, switching away like you done won some war. Girl, oh my God. When Phil and Judy get home and sit down to have dinner, she's going on and on and on about Charity and how at least it's good that she isn't in her office crying all day. And Phil is like, Judy, can we just say grace, please? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. So that she sits down and she's like, oh, Lord Jesus, thank you. Thank you for our relationship. Thank you for everything you've given us. It's just the fakest, flawless, you know, most perpetrating good but actually evil sounding prayer I've ever heard in my damn life. Okay? Like, Lord have mercy. And Phil just rolls his eyes. I said, this is what you signed up for, Phil. This is what you signed up for. You agreed to this. It doesn't seem worth it, but whatever. So y'all, May and James talked to Corinne about putting this church together and who they need to hire to do this and to do that. And Corinne agrees to do the music. Okay, she said in a church like that, because it ain't nothing but a ball. All she gonna have to do is sing a tune and press a button, and she can handle that just fine. So now she's hired. And y'all, okay, remember we was talking about Jacob going to see James? James is in his room working out. And Jacob comes in and asks him, did he call Daryl James down to the church the night he was killed in the fire? And James like, what are you asking me that for? He was like, Daddy, I need to know the answer, okay? And he was like, no, of course not. Why would you ask me something like that? And Jacob asked him, what about Daryl James being the, original beneficiary to the property? And James was like, oh no, okay, I have the will right here that we are the ones that renegade this house to. We're the ones. James don't know nothing about it, okay? It's obvious that James don't know nothing about it. Shit, if James did know something about it, he probably wouldn't remember it. So y'all, then we see Lady May go into Charity's suite as she's spending some time with her son finally. And she gives her a hymnal, and on the inside in, childlike writing, it says Reverend Charity Greenleaf. And even when Charity was a child, she wanted to be a reverend. She never wanted to do music. And her mom says, well, you know, just before she was about to say, just don't go out there and make a fool of yourself, she was like, I've been sitting here all day trying to figure out a name for our church, and I couldn't figure it out. So I guess we all play a fool sometimes, all right? No exceptions to the rule. Listen, baby, everybody plays the fool sometimes. Charity says, well, Mama, what about eternal faith fellowship? And she was like, oh, I like that. So Charity might have been the one to come up with the name to the church. So May stands up to hand her the hymnal, and she says, the AP offer still stands, Reverend, if it ever fits. You know, and I was like, oh, that was nice. And then she kissed Charity on the cheek, and it was just sweet and endearing. And I think that it was what Charity needed to see. Like, if Charity thought about the day she had, you prayed, Phil and Judy worked on your nerves all fucking day, and then your mama came in your room with a kiss on the cheek, reminding you of what your dream originally was and offering that to you. Like, I don't understand why this is hard. Like, I don't understand why she's fighting to stay at Hope and Harmony. I just don't know. So then we see AJ call Sophia down to the hospital. And when she gets there, you know, he's like, well, I'm leaving, and I just wanted to say goodbye to my little sister. And she's like, you want to say goodbye? No, you can't say goodbye without telling me why you tried to kill yourself. And y'all, he hemming and hawing, and you're making it so dramatic. And I'm like, Child, there's nothing more dramatic than what you just told that girl. Like, I don't know what the hell wrong with him, okay? Meanwhile, Grace and Noah are outside in the lobby waiting, you know, trying to see if he's gonna want to see them. And when Sophia comes out, she's got this look on her face like she's just, you know, dazed, and she's like, he wants to talk to you. So Grace goes in to talk to AJ, y'all, and AJ is sitting there looking straight ahead. He's not even looking at her. He's trying to be horrid. And he says, I'm gonna tell you this, and I don't want to talk about it after. And she sits there, you know, looking at him, all this hope and love in her eyes, and she's like, okay, son, okay. And he says, I was raped when I was in jail, and one of the bitches who did it gave me HIV. So that's my life. That's the situation. And her tears just rolled down her face. And, you know, you can hear, you know, he's trying to hold it. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to hold it. He was trying to hold it. I don't mean to laugh, but that's some terrible shit. But when he told Sophia not to be dramatic, I'm like, dude, you got raped and somebody gave you HIV when you went to jail? And we all know the only reason that you was probably in jail is because, you know, you was out here on your lonesome because your people wasn't there for you. Like, oh my God. Oh my God, y'all. Grace is gonna guilt herself into the grave. I mean, you know, maybe not, but I feel as if she is going to take on the guilt of this very deeply. As she should. As she should. I'm sorry. You know, but if you would have halfway tried to be there for that child, he would have had a better life than he had without you. And that's the crazy thing. It's different when people ain't got no money. They don't come from a family with money, you know, or they're gonna be cast asunder or something like that. I don't feel like James would have allowed for Grace to be cast asunder if she was pregnant. They would have been there for her and helped her take care of that baby, because that's what they're doing with their grown-ass children right now, okay? So I just think that she should have been honest, and everybody would have had a better life. But, you know, the church doesn't breed honesty, you know, it breeds control. But, you know, whatever. Anyway, y'all, that was Greenleaf. I enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in the next